Cabernet look like it's honey, more like Voss, yeah. That girl saw my chain, she said, what's it cost like, yeah. Cabernet matter no cost like, yeah. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Edrix, and we have been on a little too long of a hiatus, basically a little 2-week hiatus. It wasn't anything like crazy, but you know, when I try to find like stuff to post and stuff to talk about, yes, there are things that I could talk about every day, but at the same time, it's just like I'm not really one that's really just trying to spark a conversation out of nothing. Like, I feel like if I have nothing to talk about or if I have nothing to add to a conversation, I'll stay out of it. So I'm not going to post like every day just to like post every day and talk about something that I don't feel necessarily inclined to talk about or just think that I have to talk about. Right now, there have been things that have happened within the WNBA, obviously training camp kicking off and some other things with like Angel Reese's introduction to the Chicago Sky, which was kind of wild. I could have spoken about that. Like, I could have talked about that, dropped a video, but I think it's important, especially in this space, it's important to also know when to keep out of a conversation. Not because you can't add anything to it, but it's like sometimes not everyone has to hear your voice all the time. You get what I'm saying? So I know it kind of sounds like an excuse for laziness, but it's not, because during these 2 weeks, I've actually been working on a video for this channel, and a video that I've wanted to drop for a very long time, and I finished writing it, and I'm clip hunting for it right now, and I actually haven't recorded it, but I'd rather find the clips first and then record it. That way editing is faster and smoother. But today, I actually do have something I want to talk about, because if you all don't know this website, it's called Spotrac. Basically, this website lists all the different types of contracts, team cap space, team table, team rankings, player rankings, free agents, draft process, all that stuff. It's all on this website. And it's really interesting for the WNBA because we all know that there are limited roster spots for these WNBA teams. So I was thinking to myself, I was on a Seattle Storm's Instagram page, and I was just looking, and, you know, everyone's going crazy still over Nika Muhl and everything. And I was just like, what are the chances that Nika Muhl actually makes this team? And then I started thinking, what are the chances that most of the players like we're riding with and that we want to see in the W and we want to see, you know, kick off their WNBA and professional careers? Like, what are the chances that these players actually make these teams? So I went on Spotrac and I was like, all right, let me just look at the contracts. And here's basically what I figured out. Now, when you go on Spotrac, you can see the team's cap space. You can see how much cap space they have left. You can see how much cap space they've used up. You can see the different contracts, all that stuff, right? So I figured, why not just look at the team and see, like, let's see if we can analyze and come to a conclusion about who actually gets to stay on the team. So we're going to start off with the Seattle Storm. Protected contracts. Players that have actually signed big contracts who are most likely not going anywhere. The players that have been there, even if they're 1, 2, 3 year players that actually played for the team, we're going to give those players the benefit of the doubt when it comes to this roster spot. Hopefully that made sense, but let's go ahead and, you know, get into it. This is Seattle Storm's basically all their spots right now. I'll try to put the training camp rosters on the screen right now. Now, when it comes to Seattle Storm, you probably see on the graphic, you probably see in the post, maybe this way, you probably see that Victoria Vivians is on the training camp roster, and I really don't know what's going on with that, because I see that she's on the training camp roster, but she's not on Spotrac, which is weird because I thought she did sign a contract with Seattle during the offseason. And I looked at the transactions and it's not pulling up anything for Victoria Vivian. So I'm not sure what Victoria Vivians is on. I'm not even sure if she's on a camp contract, if she's already been signed, but she shows up on the training camp roster for the team and she's not on Spotrac. So I'm just going to assume that a spot isn't going to be used on her. So first off, we already have Jewel Lloyd protected. She's gone. Skylar Diggins-Smith 2, Nneka Ogwumike 3, Mercedes Russell 4, Ezi Magmabor 5, Magbegor 5. All of these contracts right here are protected. Sammy Whitcomb 6 protected. Now, this is where we get to the unprotected contracts. Now, again, we're just using the benefit of the doubt. Jordan Horston, she's probably going to return to the team. I'd be surprised if they cut her, right? Plus, Seattle needs wings anyway. And since Gabby isn't going to be playing this year, there's a 99% chance Jordan Horston returns to the team. So Jordan Horston is going to be there. Now, next on that list is Nika Muhl. Right, so we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're at seven spots taken right now. Nika Muhl is most likely going to make the team. So if you all are wondering if she's going to get cut or something like that, if she's going to make the team, I do think she's going to make the team anyway, because Seattle really only has one spot left. So let's keep going. So let's say Nika makes the team, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 roster spots taken. Dulce Fancom, she played, I want to say last year, and maybe she signed 2 years ago. That's 9 spots taken. So I'm, again, giving the benefit of the doubt to the players that there. 10th spot is Jade Melbourne. She was there last year. I think she played her rookie year with Seattle last year. So let's say she gets a spot. Again, benefit of the doubt. So really, you have Elena Coates, Kayla Davis, Joyner Holmes, Kiana Williams, and Quay Miller. They are really competing for one spot. Assuming that Seattle takes all their players, their protected players, their rookie pickup, Jordan returns, their returning players. Assuming that they take all their returning players, they really only have one spot open that can be taken. Plus, if we look at their cap space down below, they are 10th in the league in cap space, so they really only have one roster spot. It's like one person they can pick up, because a contract is about unprotected contract for like any of these training camp players or camp invite players is about maybe like 67 to 70. So they really only have one spot. So you have basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players competing for one spot. That's if they decide to return some of these players. Now, that being said, they can cut some of these returning players, right? Obviously, they can cut some of these returning players. They can cut Nika Muhl in place for a Quay Miller, right? They can cut Jordan Horston in place for Joyner Holmes. It's up to the teams, right? But just going off what we see here, Seattle only has one spot open, and I don't think they get rid of Nika Muhl. Like, I actually think she completes the team pretty well. Now, they are they're okay when it comes to their team build. If we look at their guards, their bigs, the one thing that Seattle probably does need a little bit more of, or probably maybe more wings. They have a lot of forwards, but they don't have a lot of wings. And you kind of losing Gabby, Jordan Horston is basically going to step into that position where she's probably going to be the main wing for Seattle, but I don't think she has a backup. So that would be interesting to see what Seattle does, knowing that Jordan is basically your only like wing on the team. It should be interesting. Training camp cuts. Some are going to be more predictable than others, but for Seattle, since they only have like a limited spot, I'd be surprised if they drop Nika Muhl. I feel like just off of like the fanship and the fan base right now, this is like the one time, maybe like a few times this might happen, but this might be like the most clear time where a team can't drop a player just because of the market around that player. You get what I'm saying? So let's say there was a better player on the team than like Nika Muhl or something like that, or a better player in their training camp, in the Storm's training camp, they would still feel pressure not to drop Nika Muhl just off of like the market and the fanship and the fan base. You get what I'm saying? So this might be the one time where it's like this fan base actually, not saying Nika Muhl isn't worth it or isn't talented enough to get that spot, but this might be like the fan base might be the deciding factor that pushes Nika Muhl over the line. So I think she gets a spot regardless. Like if she didn't have the fan base behind her, she would probably get a spot regardless. But yeah, that's going to do it for Seattle Storm's little roster breakdown. Training camp is underway. It kicked off a couple of days ago. We're going to keep doing this. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this for all 12 WNBA teams, but I am going to do this for the teams that, you know, have interesting decisions to make. All right, that's going to do it for this video. I'm out. You guys take care. Stay safe. Be blessed. See y'all on the next one. Peace.